And I think that employers end up screwing up family and medical leave requests just because they don't know how to go through that process, what to do when you receive a request, how you go about getting medical certification, what you can do if you don't think that medical certification is valid, what you're going to, how do you get second opinions and that sort of thing. And so family and medical leave policy is one of those things that there's no requirement that you have a family and medical leave policy, but if you are covered as an employer that has to provide that benefit, then a detailed policy gives both you and the employer kind of a step-by-step process for how we're going to do that. One of the things that you want to make sure you do in a family and medical leave policy is define eligibility requirements. Not every employee is eligible for FMLA leave. In order to be an eligible employee under the FMLA, you have to have worked for at least 12 months for the employer and at least 1,250 hours in the last 12 months that you work. You probably want to spell that out. You also have to work at a work site that has at least 50 employees within a 75-mile radius, so you may have some employees who, even though you're a covered employer, they don't have FMLA rights if you've got a remote office and that doesn't have 50 employees within that 75-mile radius. So you want to define eligibility requirements within the policy, in part, and I think Leah touched on this a little bit, in part to make it clear that certain types of employees, even though we have a policy and we're a covered employer, are not entitled to leave benefits, and that our FMLA leave policy doesn't contractually obligate you to give those employees rights that they're not otherwise entitled to under the FMLA. If they have a serious health condition, you can request certification to support the leave. You don't have to do that as an employer. I generally encourage people to do that because if you request certification from one employee and then you don't request certification from another employee, you've got a situation where there's been differential treatment, and I've seen claims where people say, hey, you didn't ask for medical certification from the Anglo employer, the male employee who made a request, but then when I put in that I needed FMLA leave, you asked for medical certification. So I think just having a standard process to avoid that differentiation, to avoid potential discrimination claims. You should have a policy to describe how the leave is going to be requested. And then you want to make sure that the policy makes clear that taking FMLA leave doesn't result in the loss of any employment benefits that are accrued prior to the beginning of the leave, and what the reemployment rights are of the employee when they come back. And frankly, a lot of this is just for you to know what you need to do under certain circumstances, or if you've got an HR department in which you've got HR representatives who are having to handle these types of issues, they know what's expected. And employees, if they know what is expected, then they tend to comply with the policy in a way that makes it just easier to resolve FMLA type issues anyway.